Hey, everybody. It's Grouchy Surge, the fat man in Vegas, and it is currently 2:30 in the morning. I am walking around a mostly empty store because my motivation, my energy levels, my everything have reached lows. This was originally a 2-week stint of overnights, and then on my day off they changed it to it's just going to be 8 days straight, so nobody gets a day off. So I lost my weekend off, and today is day 9. Yes, you heard that right. Let's just do 8 days straight. Today is day 9, tomorrow is day 10. Today is day exhaustion. Very, very tired and exhausted, but I will get through. I will get overtime. I will have a bigger check. I will smile, and life goes on. But what I want to do is introduce the chat that I just had. And by just had, I mean it happened like a week or two ago with Hungry Pup. Hungry Pup. You have heard him before when we published one of his episodes on our feed. He frequently writes in and asks questions, and I'm thankful for Hungry Pup. Hungry Pup is the first and only person I've ever received an email from who basically got a hold of me and said, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I was searching for podcasts to listen to, and yours came up in the feed, and I've been having such a great time listening to you and Turkey talk, and I love your podcast, and keep up the great work. And from then, him and I started communicating, and just a really great guy. So when I started doing these pandemic fireside chats, I was like, I need to have this guy on one, right? So yeah, we had a great, mostly video game related discussion. Talked a little bit about Fire Emblem. Talked a lot about Disgaea 5 specifically, but some of the ins and outs, item world, the addictive nature of it. Talked a little bit about Animal Crossing and some other stuff. But, you know, when you guys hear this chat, he's just is a good-natured, a nice guy. And, maybe some other people should have him make a guest appearance. He would be a really cool guest on We the Gamercast, maybe. But whatever. That's not my say. I just want to let you guys know that I really enjoyed my time with Hungry Pup. Before I get to that, just a little bit of an update. I have been exercising mostly daily, reporting back with Sean Capri. We're trying to keep each other motivated. We're trying to keep each other honest. And honestly, during these overnights, it has been a little hard for me. My sleep schedule is way off. So I haven't been hitting the elliptical like I want to. And as soon as these overnights are over, I'm going to go back to hitting the elliptical every single day, making time for it, adding in other exercises. I'm thinking about doing some squats. I'm thinking about other things. I want to do push-ups, but torn rotator cuff doesn't really feel good. So I will find some other stuff to do. But the elliptical, that's the main one. Maybe some healthier eating, but mainly get the elliptical in, get that cardio up, burn off some calories. I know if I do it enough and if I do it daily, the weight will come off and should be easy to maintain. So there's that going on in my life. The wife and I, the kids, we're all doing good. We're all quarantining as much as possible. We go to the grocery store. We go to work. We come home. The 14-year-old, he's basically talking about how he misses just hanging out with his friends. He can make some phone calls or video chat with them or whatever. Maybe play some NBA 2K or Call of Duty Warzone with them. But, it's not the same. It's not the same as, just hanging out with a buddy and, spending time together. And that is something that I really miss. I don't do a whole lot of it because I'm an old man with kids and responsibilities. But I miss it. I miss having the ability to do it. Right now, I am missing my friends in Pennsylvania. We should have had a big get-together. You know, it was going to be some buddies coming into town. My brother was going to be in town. We were going to get together for approximately 5 days. We were going to have a fantasy football draft. We were going to watch the draft. We were just going to hit the town, probably have a night of heavy drinking, and just have a whole lot of fun. And none of that happened because of this pandemic. And, you know, I miss it. I need that human contact every once in a while. I'm not a huge introvert. I like to be around people. I like to go out for a beer or 16. And, you know, it's hard to be a goof. It's hard to be, you know, the funny guy. It's hard to just make bad jokes when you don't have anybody to talk to and make them. So it's taken a toll on me. But I know that things are going to come around. Things are starting to open up, and it scares the crap out of me. But at the same time, whatever. This is the life we are in. You have to take the good with the bad, and you just have to be prepared as much as possible and protect yourself and your family as much as possible. You know, I'm the type of person that believes everything happens for a reason, and if something's going to happen, it's going to happen. You know, so when I go out, I wear my masks. I wash my hands after I poop. I sanitize. You know, if I had sanitizer, I would sanitize more often. You know, and I'm just trying to keep myself clean. I even use wet wipes when I, you know, take a number 2 because I'm just trying to make sure I'm extra clean. But anyway, you guys don't want to hear any of that. So, I am the Fat Man in Vegas, Grouchy Surge. This is another Fireside chat, and I do hope you all enjoy them. If any of you out there are listening and you want to be part of these, I can have a conversation on my way to work. I can have a conversation on my way home from work. You know, if I'm driving, that's my conversation time, and I am willing to work you in. You just let me know you want to be a part of this. You know, send me a DM. You know, hit me up, send me a text message, and I will give you my work schedule. I'll be like, hey, this is the time I'm leaving. This is the time I'm coming back. And if any of that works for you, I'll work you in. You know what I'm saying? So, without further ado, enjoy this chat with Hungry Pup, who is participating in Backlog Bingo, FYI.
What is today, Sunday?
Yep, today, Sunday, May 3rd.
Sunday. The wife was making French toast when I was leaving for the kids.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
I'm sure it will be. She was making it and then doing some apple cinnamon to go on top of it. All in all, it sounds very decadent, and I'm sad that I have to miss it.
I wanted to tell you that this day was a long day in the coming, man. I started listening to you guys, about a year ago? Maybe almost a year ago.
Has it been that long?
I don't know. And I used to, while I was cleaning the house every Sunday, I would listen to you and Trash Turkey do the podcast, and then it's kind of just funny that today's Sunday, and it's I don't know how many months later, and here I am. I'm actually part of the podcast, so this is awesome. I'm glad I got a chance to talk to you.
And hopefully you're not cleaning at the time.
No.
Oh.
I'm sitting in my office, my office now, I guess, but
yeah,
and just taking a load off.
That's good. How is life on the East Coast treating you?
It's crazy. I think I said I'm in New Jersey, and it's challenging here. I try not to leave or go anywhere, and I guess I'm very lucky that I could stay inside.
Well, are they opening your state up at all? Because I was talking to Ryan last night, and they're opening up Texas. So, I don't know. Every state's doing its own thing right now.
Right. I heard they opened up golf courses.
Well, that is actually kind of important.
Mm-hmm.
Very easy to social distance yourself.
Yep.
The way I play, sometimes my balls might not social distance themselves. But that's why you just yell 4 and hope people move out of the way.
Well, I'm never on the fairway anyway, so.
I haven't played since I moved to Vegas. I used to play with a buddy back home and had my own clubs. But when I moved, I literally just packed everything up in my car that would fit, and everything that stayed behind, I let my my roommate or my parents just sell off.
Yeah.
So
I haven't played in a little while either. I used to play pretty regularly, but it's hard with the kids, as you know.
Well, I'm sure that would make it more difficult, but like my biggest problem now is even if I wanted to play, you either have to start early or late, because in Vegas it's just, you don't want to play at like noon, which is when I used to play back home, because then it's going to be like 90, 100, 110.
Ooh.
So in that regard, I'm okay not playing, but I'd still like to do, maybe a couple of rounds a year would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to get out, get some fresh air.
Yes. Some fresh, non-COVID air that only the golf course can provide.
How are you holding up out there?
We're pretty much just living life like normal, sadly. Last night, actually, the wife was very cranky with me because we have a jacuzzi, and this past week we've been so busy that I forgot to test it and do the cleaning routine and add chlorine and all that happy crap. So she opened it up yesterday to test it so that she could adjust the pH and maybe get in, and the water was a bit on the green side. So she was very angry with me because I hadn't tested it and I hadn't cleaned it, and threatened to get rid of it, even though she's the one that wanted it. But we just had a very long week where essentially it was like work, sleep, work, sleep. So
those weeks are never good.
no, they're not. But right now it seems to be, working retail when a lot of the smaller places are either closed up or limiting people. And I'm guessing that, all of the unemployed people are getting that extra $600 a week, so they want to come to Lowe's and spend it.
Start those home projects.
Yes, lots of home projects. Everybody's house better be immaculate by the time this thing is done. With the amount of home projects we're selling, like everything should have a fresh coat of paint. All the mulch and brick we're selling, everybody's backyard should be done. There's no excuse. It's like every house immaculate. They all went up by $20,000 in value because of the work put into it. That's what I want to see at the end of this. That'll make it feel worthwhile, I guess.
Hey, I've been listening to you and Ryan a couple times, and Egg Shen, and yeah, you guys were talking about. Well, you were talking about that everybody's coming to Lowe's and everybody's buying all of this material, and they're getting ready to do this projects, and everybody's and the stores are doing better than they've done. Like they're at a Black Friday level of performance, and I'm just sitting here in my house saying, "Man, I'm really not doing anything."
Yeah, it's crazy.
I have not been to Lowe's. I vacuum.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you staying home. Yeah, it's last week we had our second $1 million week in a row.
Wow.
And yeah, so we hit 200,000 yesterday. And the only other time that our store has actually gone over 200,000 was last year's Black Friday. But last year's Black Friday, we only did like 600,000 for the week, whereas this past week we did over $1 million. It's, the numbers are consistently, up 50, 60, 70% every day. It's crazy. Like I'm waiting for the money to run out. Like people can't keep spending like this. But then that's when I remembered, all the people that are on unemployment, they're getting that extra money.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of them are probably getting paid a lot better than they were when they were working. Because $600 a week, that's $2,400 a month just in bonus.
I didn't even think of it that way.
That's crazy. That's all money that they're not used to having. So they're like, oh, let's go spend it.
Spend it.
Nobody saves.
Unbelievable.
It is. I I'm looking forward to, when everybody feels like we're stable enough that they can open the economy back up and have, all the other places, some go to whatever's going to become the new normal. But at the same time, like, it's been 2 months now. I'm really going to miss how busy we are. Because, it's nice to go to work, you run around, go home.
Days go by fast.
Yeah, yesterday I think I put in 21,000 steps before I left the store. So when I got home and did the elliptical, I ended up at over 25,000. So it was nice and tired, but the days do go by faster.
Yeah, it's there. I haven't really gone anywhere, and one of the things I worry about is all my old routine, like just getting fast food, takeout, and I'm worried all these places are just going to be shut down. Here, I mean, nobody's out, nobody's doing anything, and it's like almost it's like dystopia here.
Yeah, I don't know how it is anywhere other than Vegas, but like all the fast food places are still open here. You can only do drive-through though. I guess some of them maybe you can walk in and order, but you can't eat there. Like I think that's the way the Five Guys is right by work. You can go in and order, and then they have their place set up where it's like if they get a crowd, it's 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet, and they have them all numbered on the floor, what position you are. But, all the basics are open. It's just like the one thing for the wife and I, since quarantine, we've had our daughter's birthday, we had our anniversary. Next weekend's going to be Mother's Day. So there's been a couple of times, and on Mother's Day, we'll, order takeout from her favorite sushi place and bring it home. But I don't know. Like, I feel less impacted than most of the world just because I work retail and I have to go into work every day like normal. But I listen to, some other podcasts and stuff where they're talking about how, other than going to the grocery store, they've literally been in their house, 35 days, 41 days, haven't done anything but, get like grocery pickup or grocery delivery. And I'm like, it's got to be weird for, the majority of the country going through that.
Yeah. And that's been us. We have a routine every 2 weeks on like a Thursday or Friday. We go to BJ's and just get a load of groceries. We wipe them down when we bring them in the house. And then we have that for 2 weeks. And really, other than that, we haven't been in general population. It's just been weird.
Like I know a lot of stuff is limited out here at times, and now that they're talking about like the meat packing factories having COVID problems, I assume that meat's going to start getting more sparse again. But do you guys have like limits on the stuff you can buy? Do you do pickup, or do you actually go into the grocery store? How have you guys been doing it?
My wife actually, I've stayed home with the kids, and she drives to the grocery store. It gets there about 40 minutes before it opens, and she gets in kind of, and evidently, even though they're not open yet, she's gotten in like shortly after she arrived. They like let her in, and then she kind of has access to the whole store, and she can do that really without encountering anybody. So then she fills the cart and she checks out. Loads it into the car, wipes it down in the car, then we drive it home, and then I kind of meet her when she arrives, wipe it down again, and get it loaded into the fridge. And that's it, really. The only other time we get groceries is sometimes we have these services where these farms, I guess, I forget what it's called, Home Harvest or something. A farm gives you a salad and some produce, and they drive it to you. So we meet that guy, and he leaves it on the front step, and then when he leaves, we go and get that and wipe it down, same thing. But That's about it.
I mean, do what you got to do. Do you guys find yourself like sanitizing her car afterwards too, wiping down the steering wheel with like Lysol wipes or something?
No, we haven't gone that far. I try to be pretty conservative with it, but
Yeah.
Other than that, she just kind of washes her hands when she comes in, like
Right.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think it's probably because I have to go to work every day, but that's one of the things. The wife always wants me to have like a little baggie of Clorox wipes with me because I'm at work and touching stuff, and so she wants me to like wipe off the steering wheel every day just to try to be extra safe.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that I don't even think of, but she was like, "Here, you need to take this and wipe your car down." I'm like, "Why?" She's just gives me this look. I'm like, "Okay, never mind. I understand."
But the truth is, we've been doing very well. I mean, it's weird, and I think you and Ryan have said, things are just weird now. But it's weird, and we're making it through. And I think the weirdest thing with work is I'm used to going into work, and into an office and being there for 8 hours a day, then coming back, and now it's just everything's at home, and I almost feel incredibly fortunate that I'm allowed to have it that way. It's strange, and in some ways it's a little inefficient when I have to call into these meetings and the kids are running around, but for the most part, it's almost a blessing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the good news is you still have a job. You're still getting paid.
Yep.
No office, but yeah, that's one of the funny things is, seeing people talk about their Zoom meetings or whatever, and next thing you know, there's a kid in the background or a kid on a lap, and it's interesting the way that home life has invaded work life because of this.
Right.
I know it's one of the things with just podcasting with the guys is Jacob's just going to barge in once in a while. He's going to make it past the mom defenses, and he's going to be like, "Hi, Dad, what are you doing? Are you talking to your friends again? Are you almost done?" But little stuff like that I kind of enjoy. It's cute.
Exactly. And one thing, since we are podcasting, state of the world out there is just hopefully we're going to all look back on this and it's going to be a time that we're really going to appreciate, just the extra family time. Like, even if I'm in an important meeting and I'm trying to say something, and then my daughter actually just screamed into the phone. I just found myself laughing. Just like, she just has to contribute at this time. So she's coming on.
I just want to be part of it. If Dad's doing it, I'm doing it.
Yep. So it is what it is, and that's why I've said on my podcast, I'm trying to keep saying this. There's more time for video games now, right? It's we're home more.
In theory, there is more time for. There's also more time for housework. I don't know how that's working out for everybody, but in theory, I know last week I got a good amount of Final Fantasy time in. I just have to find the time to finish the last few chapters so I can beat it. But I'm absolutely loving it. I love the fact that, I've forced myself to have some TV time to be able to play through it. But I haven't listened to your last podcast drop yet, but what have you been playing lately that's, keeping your interest?
So first, I want to say I'm jealous that you're playing Final Fantasy VII. I don't know why I didn't get it yet, but I am playing. I beat Fire Emblem, and I moved on to. I played a game called Pocket Stables. That was a random eShop purchase.
Does it have to do with horses?
Yep. It was a horse racing game, and I remember thinking that's unique. I've never played a horse racing simulation game, and it was cheap. It may have been like $8 or something. So I'll try this. So I played that for 15 hours or so, and now I'm playing Disgaea 5, if that's how you say it.
How do you like that? Because
and I'm into it.
I've always been intrigued by it. I've liked the tactical RPG battle system for a long time, even though I haven't played a whole lot of them. On the 3DS, I got into the Devil Survivor series, which, has that same grid-based combat to it. And I like the elements that adds instead of just your old-fashioned turn-based where it's cast your spell, do your attack or whatever. I like having to position yourself.
Right.
So Disgaea has always been something I've wanted to get into, but at the same time, it intimidates me because I've had friends that have been playing it since the first game, and they would tell me about how they could literally have put hundreds of hours into it, and I don't know if it's the same from the old ones, but you have the regular world, but you also have item world,
Yep.
where you can go inside your weapon and go through levels so that you can level up your weapon and max it out. And my buddy would tell me how he would just spend hours and hours inside of his weapons, going through battles and doing all this stuff so that he could just get more and more powerful. And that's just on top of the game and the storyline and everything else. And it's like, I've always thought it was interesting, but I was always like intimidated where if I start this game, am I going to be able to finish it? Or is it going to be one of those ones that consumes me and I don't ever get to play anything else? Or am I just going to run into a point where it's like, okay, I have to put it down and probably not come back to it because it's, too deep and too long and I'll forget where I was or something.
That's a great point, and I think you're starting to realize about me too. Is I keep picking up these huge games. I am I guess drawn to them.
Yeah.
But I play Octopath Traveler 100 hours, and I'm like, oh, finally done. What am I going to play next? Oh, World of Final Fantasy, another 50. I just keep finding them. But this guy is, yeah, it's intimidating.
I was going to say, the thing is, you put the time into them, and you have like the personality and the mindset that, yeah, it might be a 120-hour game, but you're going to play it and you're going to love it and, get through it. Whereas me, I have like a mental block. Somewhere between hour 30 and 50, I just have to move on to something else and then maybe come back to it later.
Yeah, it's we got to find a term for that band, because I go through that too. It's like the 30 to 50 hour mark where your excitement over what else you could be playing eclipses the desire to continue with what you're currently playing.
Yeah. And the thing is, I discovered that I have that like artificial barrier completely by accident once. Like, I've never been huge into I have to beat the game if I'm playing it. But there was this time period, I think it was the PS2, PS3 era, where I was looking for something to play. So I was going back over my old save files and like, oh, there's got to be some stuff that I was like close to the end on that I can like pick up and go through and finish. And I looked at my save files and I was like 40 hours into Fallout 3 before I put it aside. I was 35 hours into Assassin's Creed, the first one. I was like 45, 50 hours into Dragon Age Origins. And then there was like a PS2 RPG called Artonelico that I was like 35 hours into. And it was like looking at all these save files, it was like all somewhere in that 35, 40, 50 hour range. Like I just stopped playing all of them. And I was like, that's weird. But I did decide, and I went back and I finally beat all of them. But it was just really weird. Like as I was looking at the timestamps on the save files, and I was like, oh, so that's where my attention span says I have to go play something else, is right in there somewhere.
Right. And I'm about 50 hours now into Disgaea, and I feel that pull.
So my question is, I mean, obviously completely different types of stories, but similar combat at least. How are you feeling about Disgaea, the combat, like pros and cons versus like a Fire Emblem?
That's a great question. See, this is why I wanted to talk to you. This is awesome. The Fire Emblem is one of my favorite games in a really long time. I've really liked that combat system and the tactics. Disgaea is almost overwhelming for a new player, and I was a new player. Disgaea 5 was the first one I've ever played. And if I had to compare how they both work tactically, I would say Disgaea is a lot more flexible with, you can move a guy to a space and then move a bunch of other guys and then kind of see how that looks when you start to lock in your moves. And your moves are never locked in until you press execute. So it's almost different. It's like you can rearrange your pieces however you want and then say, okay, execute this.
So execute is pretty much advancing to the battle portion.
Right.
So
Exactly.
instead of moving one guy and doing a mini battle, you get to move all of your pawns around the board and then go into the battle.
Exactly. And if I remember Fire Emblem was when I played it, I'd move my one person and then they would battle. And then all
Yeah.
of my other moves were kind of based on that.
Okay, well, I kind of like the sound of that because you get to like see what the board would look like, so to speak, after all of your characters move before going into battle. So it's a little bit more tactical, and it would be a little bit more real life instead of like Trash Turkey's going to walk over there and hit a guy, and then Math Man's going to walk over there and hit a guy, and then this guy is going to go hide behind someone else and cast a healing spell since the battle's over and they need it. I kind of like I want to get into the game so bad. I picked it up. I picked up the physical version when it was like on sale at one point, and I think I played maybe an hour of the demo. And it's anime, it's over the top, it's horny. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. But like, if you ever had the PSP, they had the spin-off game with the, what do they call them, the Prinnies?
Yep.
But that was like a side-scrolling Meat Boy type game where you die a ton. And like, I love the sense of humor that I've seen out of the game. So at one time, I'm just going to have to be like, this is the game I'm going to play for this month and put, 20, 30 hours into it and see where I go.
Man, that's the way that I came across it. So back to the 30 to 40 to 50 hour mark, I started Fire Emblem. I started a New Game Plus because I was curious, and instead of playing as the Black Eagles, I played as the Blue House, the Holy Kingdom of Fargus.
When you go into New Game Plus, you can choose a new route.
And when I finally beat Fire Emblem, I was like, the first thing I wanted to do was like, okay, now I know this game. I need to experience it as another house because this story is insane. So I started to do that, and then it got to that point where I just got curious again, and I was like, let me just download the demo for Disgaea because it was free. Disgaea 4 and Disgaea 5 were there. So I played
it. Is it fun, Spike?
Yeah, and then I was like, this is fun. And then I ended up buying it.
Awesome.
It is overwhelming. I
honestly think when I beat Fire Emblem, I'm just going to watch movies of all the other house endings and stuff and see how their stories play out. I don't think I have enough time in this life to go back and play all the other houses.
I don't think I do
either. So other than the fact that the battles are more tactical, like what is the item world exactly?
So the item world is exactly how you explained it. And the reason why I keep saying this is overwhelming, I'll bring that up in this answer, is because there's so many different equipment, items, abilities, spells, and there's this thing called evil teas. I mean, there's just all these different ways to build a character. And when you first start, and then you have like 10 characters to choose from, like different classes. And I had trouble with like, I don't even know how to begin. Like, I guess I want a warrior that has attack buffs. Like, that's kind of where I was. And the item world, it brings that to another level in that you, like you said, you choose a sword or any kind of item and you dive into it and you could level it up. And the reason why you want to do that is because you can in a sense grind all of your characters in there too. So not only are you leveling up your item, you're also leveling up all of your party.
Okay. And is item world something that you can only go into an item once, or can you choose to like do a couple levels and then like an hour or two later do a few more? How does that work?
There's floors and it's almost never ending. So every 10 floors, I think it is, you have an opportunity to come out of the item world and and resolve your bonuses. So when you first go in, you kind of have to be in for 10 floors, and then you'll level up your item like 10 times. So if you have like a necklace that's plus 10 defense, and you go in and you do the 10 floors, it'll be plus 20, something like that. But then at the 10th floor, you get the opportunity to keep going. And it's almost like roulette, and that is if you keep going and then you die on like floor 15, you lose everything. So it's you have to be careful.
Now, is it something that you can do at any time, or are there certain points where it's like, okay, you have the ability to go into your items now?
Yeah, throughout the game, they unlock different things. The item world is one of those perks, I guess, that get unlocked at like chapter 3 or something. It was pretty much in the beginning, but that's one of the things that's good about it. It's they keep unlocking these things as the game goes on.
But the nice thing would be, as RPGs sometimes do, if you get to like a boss or something that you're having trouble beating, you can just jump into your item and grind up a few more levels, get a little bit more powerful, and then try them again.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's fun too. Like I find myself going in there, like your friend did as well, just because I like the idea of all the different events that can happen in there. It's not just as simple as just this place where you grind. There's also you get these little, sometimes you get this guy that if you kill him, you get like triple experience, like these little perks happen.
Yeah.
And if you played the older game, you know the thing called innocence. These innocents it's another layer of buffs that an item can have.
Right.
I'll put it in terms that you might remember. And like in Final Fantasy VII with the materia, you have the materia that are attached to the item. It gives you some kind of perk. But so They have these innocents that are very similar in that if you have an innocent that's called Gladiator 8, that means that your item has +8 attack on it. And then when you go into the item world, if you find that the innocent is an enemy, and if you encounter that enemy and defeat him, you can then make him go from +8 to +16 on top of all the other things you're doing in the item world. So it's like this. There's this risk reward thing to it.
The more you talk, the more I realize that yes, this game has a lot going on.
There is so much going on. I can hear I'm laughing as I'm saying it because there's so much.
I'm really curious, and I don't think that, like, I think if I play it, I would just start at 5 because it's the newest. Like, I would really want to. Like, I think for the PSP, I have 1 and 2 that I found, like, used real cheap at some point. But I'm really curious, like, if you go back and start at, like, Disgaea 1, if, it's a lot less complicated, but the games just kind of build upon themselves, thinking, well, if you're playing 5, you've probably played 1 through 4. So, this system, this system, this system. So let's throw this and this and this at you to be new.
Right. I didn't think it was that bad in that, because I haven't played any of them. And 5 does a really good job with the tutorials, kind of walking you through it.
Right.
That and the internet. I always use the internet in terms of, I always Google new beginners tips. I love to read those pages because then some dude's on there saying, hey, don't get overwhelmed by which character you choose first. You'll have a chance to change, like that kind of thing. Yeah. Because I get overwhelmed right away.
I always love to look up the new beginners tips, like after I'm like 4 or 5 hours into a game. And I'll be like, oh, I wish I would have known about that. Oh, that is so obvious now.
Yeah, it helped with Fire Emblem too. Like that game wasn't quite as overwhelming just because there's not as many items. There is a lot of items in Fire Emblem, but there's so many items in Disgaea.
Yeah, and then like you had mentioned, like the materia system for Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy VII was the first Final Fantasy I played, and I can hear the kids.
Yep.
And like the thing is, like, I loved the materia system. I liked how you could just, swap it in and out as you needed. Like, you know what? I want to throw fireballs in the next couple battles, or I want to level up my ice and stuff like that. So, like, as time went on and they changed battle systems and stuff like that all the time, and, materia just died out. It was like with the remake, I'm like remembering how much I loved the materia system and how flexible it is. And And the other thing is, I'm really wishing that Final Fantasy would have continued to write games like the way that 7 is. It's very kind of like ballsy. There's a lot more harsh language in there than I remember from the other games. And it just, whenever you get around to it, there's just something about this game that I'm absolutely in love with. And I wish, even with the change of combat, like, I generally don't like action combat, but I haven't had any issues in this game. I love the battle system. I love playing it. I can't wait 7 years later for the next part to come out. But I think this has made me decide that I'm going to try to play 15, which I hear has a similar combat mechanic to it.
15, I love 15. So if you want to put that on your board as what a friend recommends, I'll give you that for 15.
Yeah.
The 15 is, I don't know. I can't even describe what I like about it. Not only do I like the battle system, but I like the characters. I really like Noctis and Gladio, and I like that they can cook and camp, and there's just this like fraternity kind of camaraderie in this game that I liked. So definitely like it.
Yeah,
but it's different.
Definitely one of the games on my list to play. I don't know. Am I going to attempt to play like on the PS4 with all the really high fidelity graphics, or am I going to attempt to play the chibi version on the Switch?
That's a great question too, because I'm running into that same thing. Like, I actually bought my Switch because you and Trash Turkey recommended it, and I have been very happy with that purchase ever since. And now I'm in the same boat right now. Like, all I want to do is play the Switch because of the portability. That's the biggest thing.
Like I love the PS4. I love all the old systems and everything, but I can't take my PS4 to work with me. Well, reasonably easy, I have been looking at those like little gaming briefcases where you open the briefcase and there's a monitor and all you have to do is plug your PS4 in. But like, I look at those things and I'm like, if I did this, I could just take my PS4 to work. But I realize that's probably a bit obsessive and I should just take the Switch because it's easier.
Right. And I played it on the PS4, and the fun fact is that's the only game in my life I have ever platinumed.
Really?
Right. And it was a combination of my loving the game, and it's not that hard to platinum because I'm not very good at platinuming things. That takes a commitment I usually don't have.
I'm not big on trophies and achievements, but there's been a couple of games like God of War 3. I got the platinum on that just because I was having so much fun playing the game. I was like, I might as well just start a new game plus and pick up the last couple that I didn't get. But in general, usually once I get to the end of a game, I'm not the type that's like, okay, what do I have to go back to do to finish off the final couple of challenges that they gave us? Like, that's not stuff that ever enters my mind.
And that was the same. That's the same with me. I mean, the thing with Final Fantasy 15 is I loved it so much, and I played it years ago, and then I kind of got into this. Well, I should revisit it and play it some more again. And then suddenly I had to defeat the Adamantize, and then I could platinum. So then I became enamored with having to win that battle, and finished it off. But the thing with the Switch, I'm in the same boat as you, as in. The reason why I haven't got the remake for Final Fantasy VII is because I don't want to put down my Switch. It's really as simple as that. It's.
I understand. And not only that, but come November, you'll probably find it half price.
Yep.
And I'm all about finding stuff cheaper. I'm really hoping that by the end of the year for like all the Black Friday sales, I can pick up the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes for like $20 or less.
Nice.
That's what I'm hoping for. And then I can finally get to experience those.
Do you think we're going to want a PlayStation 5?
Do you think we're going to want it? Yes, I want all of them. I want a PlayStation 5. I want a Series X. I want a new, more powerful Switch. I want them all.
I want them all too.
I don't. So with The Last of Us 2 coming out next month, I don't see, for me right now, I don't see a reason to upgrade right away.
Right.
If I'm going to upgrade anything right away, usually it would be Sony because I like all the story-driven stuff.
Yep.
Xbox has the nice thing where they're going to let you do like the whole financing for over the course of 2 years, where essentially you're just paying for the system and Game Pass, but at a discount. Usually it comes out, the price is pretty close. So it's not like there's interest or tacked on charges. It's just, this is the price of everything, pay for it over the course of the next, 18 to 24 months and it's yours. And that's enticing because I could get a Series X for like $30 a month or something like that, which will come with Live and will come with Game Pass. And I wouldn't even have to buy any games. Like, just going through and looking, like right now, Streets of Rage 4 is on Game Pass. And I want to play the game. Grand Theft Auto 5 is on Game Pass. Like, Game Pass just gets so many great games that I could see an instance where I could have an Xbox and just never actually physically purchase a game.
That's interesting. I'm right there with you. I was asking that question predominantly for, should I, like, I'm going to be tempted to buy it right away, and I'm wondering if I should wait on Final Fantasy VII and hope I can buy it for PlayStation 5, if that's even a thing.
I have a hard time seeing a world where they're not going to put it on the PlayStation 5. Because I'm assuming the next version, part 2 is going to be PlayStation 5. So I'm assuming they're either going to do, like 3 months, 6 months before that version comes out, they'll be like, hey, we've got the first part out on, the PlayStation 5 remake. So we've got that out, now re-release it, or like combine part 1 and 2 maybe, like a 2-disc set or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just, with as popular as the franchise is, with as long as everybody's wanted it, from what I understand, it's only a year exclusivity for PlayStation, which means when they release it on Xbox, why would you release it on like the Xbox One when by the time it comes out, Series X is going to be the main console? So I could see them having like an Xbox One version that maybe is ready to go. And when they release it on Xbox, it'll be like, here's the Xbox One version and the Xbox Series X version, with the better graphics and everything is out. And because, it's a year later, here's the PS5 version as well.
Interesting.
Like, that makes sense to me, because why would you put it out on PS4 and then a year later put it out on Series X but not have it for PS5?
That's a good point.
So just the timing of it makes it, to me, seem like it should hit the PS5 as well. And I have a hard time seeing how it's going to look better, but of course everything on those systems is going to look better. So my other thing is, I was thinking about, like, instead of jumping to a new console like when it comes out, is like maybe wait for that second iteration, like how you had Xbox and then you had like S and then X. It's like, maybe wait a year or two and get like the PlayStation 5 Pro and get like the beefed up one, and then you've got a couple years worth of games that you can pick up and play as well.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's kind of what I did this gen. Like, I waited on PS4 and I only have a Pro. Like, I jumped in when the PS4 Pro came.
Right.
And now it's like, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's going to be the same decision again. Part of me is saying, well, maybe this time I won't wait because I waited last time and I'm impatient. But I don't know. It's almost like you said, it's going to come down to what games are available and when. And if there's one thing I'm trying to do better, is I'm trying to worry less about how much games cost and instead focus more on priority. Like play. I want to play this game now, and if I buy it, I'm gonna play it now, and I'm gonna be playing the same time as like you guys or something, and then I could talk about
Yeah.
it.
Well, and that's the other thing is like I've got such a large backlog that not upgrading to like a PS5 isn't going to hurt anything. You know, I've got enough games on the PlayStation or on the Switch or whatever that I could easily just pick up some new Switch games as they come out over the course of the next couple years, you know, and wait for that Pro system.
Right.
Because, you know, the way Sony is, it's like all the big games, you know, a year later, you're going to be able to find them for like $20. And if you are willing to go digital, you can find like real cheap, like Spider-Man, God of War. You find those games for like $15 digitally every once in a while on a big sale. And it's so if I wait, I can get like all the exclusives fairly cheap and then just pick up whatever third-party games I want. So that's the way I want to do it. That's the way I want to lean. I want to be like, I'm not going to jump into it. But at the same time, I have been like putting money aside so that when they come out, if I have this terrible feeling that I just need to go spend the money and have it now, I can do it. So I'm preparing for both.
That's smart.
In one instance, I'll have the money available to like grab a PS5, or I can use that money. One of the things that I've really been wanting to do is like in my game room, I have a pretty crappy like 720p TV, but it works and I have no reason to upgrade it. So I could turn around and use that money to buy like, you know, a 34-inch ultra wide 4K monitor.
Mm.
So, you know, that's something else that I've been thinking about is instead of jumping into the next gen right away, how about I upgrade all my peripherals? Because, you know, having a PS5 but no 4K TV to play it on, I don't know.
That's a good idea too. I didn't think of it that way.
So, I know I need a better like visual monitor, and like I've heard the ultra wide ones look amazing. Also, you know, a really good gaming headset, so I could be saving money. I could put some of that money towards, you know, a great gaming headset so that when I get to play, you know, I've got all the great sound instead of whatever's coming out of the speakers on the TV. So,
You still playing Animal Crossing?
A little bit. With work and with Final Fantasy, like it's just been, I'm either so busy that like when I get into Animal Crossing, I like look and I'm like, I don't really want to spend 20 minutes shaking all these trees and picking up the fruit so that I can go sell it. Or, you know, and it's just like, I don't want to do the chores. And that's what it comes down to.
That's what happened to me.
I don't want to do I am putting off the chores in my house. I don't want to do chores in the video game. Like last week, I picked it up and I spent all my money on turnips. And then I found somebody who was selling turnips at a high price. And I sold them to get a ton of money so that I could like upgrade my house a couple of times. But every time I turn it on, like I turned it on today, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go buy turnips. And I found the little turnip creepy person and they were like at 108. And I'm like, I'll wait till next week. And then I saw all the trees and I'm like, I'm going to shut this off instead of go shake some trees today. My goal and I think this is on the last podcast we recorded, but I haven't had a chance to edit it yet, is I found out that I guess once your village hits a certain rating, KK Slider will come on and perform a concert. And then there's like an actual part where like credits roll. And then there's, you know, you can still keep playing the game. So I'm like, well, the credits roll, that means I beat the game. So I do want to get to the point where I can get the credits to roll so that I can like mark it off on Backlog Bingo and be like, yep, beat Animal Crossing.
Just want to make sure my voice still sounds normal, right? I think I accidentally hit a button on my headphone.
No, you sound perfectly normal.
Okay. Did I tell you this? Oh, no, I didn't tell you this, but I have a gaming headset on, and my gaming headset, if I accidentally like smack or adjust the earpiece, sometimes it has this really creepy voice. So I need to do a
really?
check to make sure I didn't do that by accident. I don't know why it has that feature, but it does.
What type of a headset do you have?
This is a Logitech G35.
Yeah, and how do you like it?
It's really nice. It's
Yeah.
it's got a good mic. It's very easy to hear only you and drown out the kids.
And
So
like the sound of the games comes through really well?
Yeah. I used to use it for actually when I first played Skyrim a long time ago. And before I had computer speakers, I was just using this, and it works really well.
Yeah, I'm used to just like listening to the games through like the speaker system, you know, through the Switch or through a TV. I picked up a Bluetooth adapter for the Switch, and I have some, you know, Bluetooth headsets that I listen to like music or podcasts on, but there's nothing great about them. They're not like top of the line. So I enjoyed that. But when I started playing Final Fantasy on the PS4, because it's got that little, you know, audio jack on the controller, I have an old pair of Bose headphones that I've had for, you know, over a decade now. So I like plugged that in and I'm like, oh, this sounds so nice. And like since then I've started becoming obsessed with like having to get like a good gaming headset, because the sound quality between my Bluetooth headsets and like the Bose, it's night and day. And plus the Bose are like nice and comfortable and I can wear them. But maybe I'll have to plug those into my Switch too and see how Animal Crossing sounds with that on.
I loved your comment on Animal Crossing about the chores, because when I played the one for the 3DS, that was exactly that happened to me. I was logging on every morning to do chores, and it got to the point where I didn't want to do my chores. It was hard enough to do my chores in life, let alone to go shake down all my trees. And then one day, it's like my little town got overrun, and I had all my flowers died, and there was weeds, and I was like, man, can I hire someone to like Tom Nook, how about 500 bells? Can you like take care of this?
Yeah. And like, and the thing is, like, I enjoyed, you know, I think I put like 25 hours into the game so far, and I enjoyed like all the beginning stuff and like getting to the point where I'm at, but it's just, I need to earn more bells, which means I need to go shake some fruit trees so that I can sell them, so that I can chop wood and make more tools to continue chopping wood and making more tools. And it's like, I get how a lot of people find the game addicting and they put hundreds and hundreds of hours into it, but the loop is not. I'm happy with I feel what I paid for the game, I feel like I've gotten enough out of it. You know, the 25 or so hours I put into it.
Yeah,
I'm very happy with that. And like I said, I'll keep playing a little bit here and there so that I can roll credits on it. And maybe once I get the terraforming, you know, I'll have like another spree where I put like 10 or 20 hours into it just so I can like design it the way I want it to look. But for me now, I just need to beat Final Fantasy and then, you know, find something else that has more action and less chores to do.
There you go. Xenoblade. Xenoblade's coming at the end of the month too. I was thinking about that.
Yeah, but then that brings me to, should I play the Xenoblade remake or should I play Xenoblade 2?
That's good. I played was that Crystal Chronicles? One of them's for the Wii U. I thought
No, Xenoblade 2 came out on the Switch like 2 years ago.
I wonder what one I was thinking of.
And there was Xenoblade, there was X.
X, that's the one I played.
I think that was the one that was like Wii and 3DS. I don't remember. But I know the second one came out on the Switch, and that, you know, that's another 120 hour game.
Oh man. I keep getting drawn to them.
Yeah. Your genre is big RPGs, evidently.
I wish I had the time. But
yeah.
I think, don't we all?
We do. And speaking of time, I now have to go into work.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
very much, Serge. It was a pleasure.
No, thanks for making time. This has been a lot of fun, and we'll have to do it again.
Absolutely. Be
Alrighty,
safe
man. Have a
out
good
there.
day. Yeah, you too. Bye.
And take care. Bye.